Hey everyone, it's Carole Garrison with Carole's Creative Escape, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little pocket card. It's easy to have a quick thank you note. You can also add a gift card in here. You could also put check or cash in here, make it a graduation card, a birthday card, anything that you wanted. But today we're just going to do you've always had a way of making my day and make it into a quick thank you card. Now the paper and products that I'm using tonight are from the greatest time of the year with Stampin' Up. I am utilizing an image from the Sweet Strawberry stamp set. I'm going to be using the thank you stamp, but what I wanted to let you know about this particular set is you've got this beautiful stamp set that has these wonderful greetings. That was so sweet of you. Hello there, just for you. Thank you. Happy birthday, you sweet thing. And then includes these strawberry images, leaves, and some flowers. And that comes with a strawberry builder punch. And this punch is set up so that you'll be able to punch out the strawberries, the leaves, this little flower, and then the strawberry top pictured here. However, if you remember last year in our celebration, we also had this small bloom punch available in one of the celebration items. This punch is now in our annual catalog, and it will fit this flower of the stamp set. But wait, folks, there's more. This is such a cool set. In the celebration catalog, there is a coordinating stamp set called Berry Blessings. And that stamp set is here, and it focuses on blueberries and raspberries instead of strawberries. And it includes 3 more greetings, wishing you the very best, bountiful blessings. You always have a way of making my day. And what's really cool about these 2 stamp sets is not only do they cover a wide variety of berries, but the font used on both sets is the same, so you can interchange these greetings, use these stamp sets together, and nobody's going to know the difference. In addition to the stamp set in the catalog, it comes with a 12-sheet pack of 12 by 12 paper. You get 12 sheets, 2 each of 6 different designs. So you've got a raspberry, and this actually is Poppy Parade. You've got this mix of strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries, so you can see how it coordinates very nicely with the 2 stamp sets. Using a rich raspberry blackberry bliss, you've got some more raspberries. Another all over design, which will coordinate with the strawberry builder punch. So you can punch out these strawberries. This flower here will catch the little flowers, and this will punch out the leaves. But you may want to just use that in a garden green color of cardstock so that you're not wasting strawberries. That's totally up to you. We've got another sheet here that's all strawberries, and then this sheet that represents the blueberries. And the back sides of these papers are absolutely gorgeous as well. You've got one that's got a leaf, you've got a plaid, kind of this all over design that sort of looks like raspberries up close, another checkered plaid type thing, one that's just strawberry seeds, and then another plaid version on the diagonal instead of square to the piece of paper. And so the great thing about these papers is they work very nicely when you have those cards that want to coordinate cardstock. Absolutely beautiful with all of the papers in here. So with the celebration catalog, you get this stamp set, the Berry Blessings stamp set, and the 12 by 12 paper free when you make a purchase of $100 before shipping and tax is added. So great way to enhance what you can get out of the annual catalog and pick up some great product to keep using and bring a little sunshine in. So let's get started. Again, I just want to walk you through the steps to create this quick and easy pocket card. So we will go ahead and get going here. I am using a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 cardstock in Pacific Point, It is scored at 2.5, excuse me, scored at 2.5 and again at 6.5. I also have 2 sheets of designer paper that I'll be using in this manner. These are 5 1/4 by 2 3/4 and 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. The last piece of paper that we need for this project is a piece of basic white paper. It is measuring 4.25 by 3.75 inches. And then you will also need scraps of the Pacific Point and of your basic white so that we can punch out some circles and images for our greetings that we're going to use. Okay, again, very simple card to make, so let's jump right in. We're going to go ahead and fold over and burnish along the score line. With this card, it's one of those, I kind of like to burnish it both directions because I need a good crease going here to help the flap lay a little flatter. And then we'll fold this end over and burnish that as well. And then I am going to take my tear and tape, which I just had, here we go. And we are going to add 2 pieces to our card on the short flap, because this is going to make the pocket of our card. Oops. So we're just going to add a little tear and tape. Originally, I did this card using just the regular Stamp and Seal, and I found that the card was popping open, and so it's just better to use the tear and tape. It holds it down tighter than the other one did. And then before we pull the backing off of that, I'm going to go ahead and add my designer paper to the card pieces. So the base of my card, I'm going to use the background piece as opposed to the blueberries. And I'm just going to adhere that onto the small flap. And then I want the blueberry side on the bigger flap. So again, I'll just adhere that. And then we can come here and peel off our backing to the tear and tape. Fold up the flap, rub those in, and the basic body of our card is now assembled. So let's start stamping our images. For the inside piece, I am going to include a thank you and a corner that has the blueberries in it. So I'm going to use my Stamparatus, which I've got all set up here. Oops, make it go in the right way here. And so I've got the inside of the blueberries in my greeting on this piece of paper, or on this particular plate. I'll go ahead and press it down. I do have a little bit of adhesive on my grid paper just to make it stick a little bit. And I'm going to use an ink spot. I subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, and I save all of my ink spots so that when I'm using my Stamparatus, I can ink up whenever possible using an ink spot. The reason I do that is I have found that with the bigger ink pads, I tend to get ink onto my plates, and sometimes that transfers over. So if I just use the ink spots, I have greater control over where my ink goes. So I do have my Pacific Point ink spot, and I'm going to ink up the thank you phrase and the inside of my blueberries. These are distinctive stamps, so they're not going to give you a solid image, but rather more of a shaded looking image. So I'm just going to press this down, and I'll get my thank you greeting and my blueberries, and I can peel it up. And the beauty of this is if I didn't get a clean impression the first time, I would be able to come back, re-ink, and stamp it and get it in the correct spot again. The next color that I'm using is Night of Navy, and I'm just using that to get the outlines of the blueberries stamped to give them just a little bit more depth. And I'll bring that down. And there we go. So you can see how nicely the outside lines up with the inside of the blueberries, and it just gives them a little more finishing appearance. So that takes care of that part. I will pull these two pieces out and get them cleaned when I'm done. And then the next thing that we need to do is stamp our inside image for the greeting. Well, it's actually the outside greeting. It's the inside of our circle on the outside. And I'm using the You Always Have a Way of Making My Day. So I've got my foam stamp pad here, my piece of Whisper White. And again, I'm going to stamp this in Pacific Point. And as long as I've got my ink spot out, I'm just going to keep using that. And I will add that to my basic white paper. And then I'm using my 2-inch circle punch to punch out my image. Now, a couple things with when I block up images, you can see that I have it diagonal on my block. I do that because I find I stamp words straighter when I focus on the words rather than assuming I have it straight on my block and using my block as the way to line it up. I just get straighter images doing that. I'm going to go ahead and punch out my circle. Usually I will stamp my greetings first and then punch out the item because it allows me to be able to use my punch for centering rather than my eyes. And then the next thing that I need is to use my 2 1/4 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to punch out a piece of Pacific Point paper with that, and I can set that aside now. Then I'm going to take my adhesive and run it across the back of my circle and attach it to the Pacific Point circle. And with this particular card, I am going to have my greeting attached. I think I might put this one in the center on this card, but only the top part of it is going to be attached. So I want to make sure when I'm putting my adhesive on that I'm working, I know where the top is, so that's what I'm working with. I don't want to have adhesive down on the part of the circle that's going to show. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that here. Rub that in real quick. I can put my inside piece into the card so that part's ready to go. I want to add some of the basic jewel rhinestones with my Take Your Pick tool. I'm just going to pull off a few of these and randomly place them on my circle as a way to add a little pop. I love this Take Your Pick tool for getting these things. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but there's actually kind of the, you can pick off gemstones and things like that and get them on with it. You can also use this to pierce paper. And then when you pull that out, there's this spatula piece, which also helps for lifting things off, including these types of stones. I tend to use the pointy part. It works a little bit better for me. And then on the other end, we've got a rubber sticky piece that helps pick up sequins and move them over to a card as well. And then there is a brush attachment that can be put on to this for brushing out the little bits of paper that get caught in your, whoops, other end, that get caught when you're using your die cutting machine. So you can kind of have all of your tools in one spot and just rub that over your die cuts and it'll pop out the pieces of paper from that. So a great little tool, and you get multiple tools in one device with that. The final thing I'm going to do is add a little bow. I've pre-tied the bow to the card, and I'm just going to adhere this with, whoops, my glue dots. And this is the Whisper White, it's the, I always get the name wrong, but the Whisper White crinkled seam binding ribbon. I find this to be really staticky too. So I always like to have a little bit of moisture on my fingers when I'm working with that. And let me add a glue dot to the back of my bow. And I'm just going to attach that up here in the center above my greeting circle piece, and voila, your card is done. Very, very simple card to make. I hope you enjoyed the steps going to this, and I thank you for taking the time to watch my video. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any future videos that I put together. And you're also always welcome to visit my blog at www.carolescreativeescape.com. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.